Welcome to Drift Week 2. We're in Arizona, and this is not a Drift Week car that's coming on the entire trip with us. This is a Drift Week car that is a local, and at each track we like to invite some locals out because it'd suck if Drift Week came through and you didn't even hear about it or anything, and none of the locals got to drive. So we invited some of the coolest local Tucson and Phoenix cars to come out. This is probably one of the coolest, all of them, but all of you guys have mentally cool cars. I don't know why there's so much style in Tucson, but for some reason, there is so much. The purpose of this interview and this video is to talk about the collision of performance and style. I make a bunch of performance versus style videos talking about you can't have both, or you can have both, but as you choose more of one thing, you lose some of the other. It's a sliding scale, and you can try to get both up as much as possible, but one is always gonna drag one down a bit. So I'm gonna talk to the owner of this absolutely crazy cool car. I love it. I rode in it last night. It is so aggressive. It makes so many Jay-Z noises. It's louder than any other car on track. I'm sure it's externally gated and stuff, but you can't even hear anything in the car. The car is so loud, I had to put earplugs in under my helmet, and that is really, really loud. So anyways, come on over. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Will.
Tell us about the car real quick, and then we're gonna get into chatting about the specifics of everything. Go for it.
So it's pretty much a 1JZ VVTi swapped Aristo. Pretty much the vision that I had of this car was I wanted 4 bucket seats and a full roll cage, and I pretty much fabricate at work, so that's what I do at work. And
I'll do most of the talking in this episode just because I'm a bit better at talking probably than he wants to be right now. And I understand not everybody wants to talk on camera. And his car does all the talking for him. So I'll just ask some questions. So it's 1JZ, how much power?
We made 420 on 16 pounds. And then right now we're on 22 pounds, probably making about 500.
Okay. Why is this thing so loud?
Dude, honestly, I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
You understand how loud it is, right?
Yeah, so pretty much I was one day I was I gotta make an exhaust for it, so I went, bought some stainless and, did some pie cuts. I made it as straight as possible. With twin pipes at the end, so it's a Y towards the end, and just came out really loud.
Well, it is super cool. What is, so the whole purpose of this interview is there's style and there's performance. And as you have one thing, such as I was looking at your wheels, to take the wheels off, he has to first take off a center cap with 8 Allen keys, take that off, and then he can change his wheels. Why'd you do that? Just because you like the way it looks?
So honestly, you could only unbolt 2 of them, so the rest are fake.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it just hides the lug nuts. It makes the wheel look better. That's how the wheels come. The car has a VIP, theme to it, so it has all black, all the VIP interior, all the wood trim, the wood grain, give it that classy style. And that's kind of what I went for. I kept it all black, OEM color. The door jambs were black, so it was easy.
So, with the stretch of the wheel, can you feel less grip in the car because of that? Or does the car being so heavy make the car feel really grippy all the time, so it doesn't matter?
Yeah, so the car is way overweight, so it's just so grippy. So grip is not the issue.
Yeah.
It's honestly just
the power.
Breaking it loose and making it drive. Yeah, that's why it's so aggressive. You have to pretty much drive it with power and just try to over rotate it and then save it, and then keep it in drift.
I felt that when I was in the car. He would throw the car really hard and just clutch kick, clutch kick, clutch kick, clutch kick. And it felt like the car was a second gear hero where it rose second gear and then it was scratching when you're going into third gear bit. Is it an R154?
Oh, no, it's a CD009.
Okay. And those synchros are
trash.
Yeah. So every time he went to third, it was scratching a little bit, but also it felt very hard on the drivetrain, those third gear clutch kicks.
For sure.
The car fought it. And we had 4 people in there, so the car must have weighed, how much does it weigh with nobody in it?
I don't know the weight, but my guesstimate is at least 5,000 pounds, or at least something close to it.
With 4 people in it?
That's probably just a chassis.
No way.
With fuel, yeah. So it has a 15-gallon fuel cell, 2.5-gallon surge tank, a battery in the back, and it's as far back as possible. So in order to get the seats in the back how I wanted to, I had to cut out the stock floor, the saddle fuel cell, and pretty much cut the whole floor out. So there was no floor. We moved the seats like 6 inches back, 6 inches down. So like, that's why when you're sitting in it, you're like, whoa, there's so much room in here.
Yeah, it was the most comfortable 4-seater race car thing I've ever been in with a cage. I mean, like, it's nice back there.
No, for sure. Like,
it gets hot though.
I'm 6'3", you know, and I'm sitting in my seat, you know, perfectly fine, and I have, you know, my bigger friends hop in, and it's like no problem. No one's hitting their head, you know, everyone's having a good time.
So did you ever think about, like, do you hate the weight? Because the weight for this entire thing, the car looks amazing, but it definitely like lowers the performance of the car quite a bit, being so crazy heavy.
And like everything breaks, like, because it's so heavy. Every single event I'm buying like rear lower arms, like tie rods, like any little mistake, like if you fly off track or fly off the rumble strip.
Yeah, we broke a knuckle last night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So like, it's a very heavy car, and you have to be very, you know, meticulous. Every single time I have to like nut and bolt the whole car. Like everything's loose, everything's like,
wow.
But I drive it hard every single event.
No, you drove it really hard.
The car never shuts off. Like, we literally just put fuel in it, change tires, go back out. So like, the car gets a lot of seat time.
I was watching your temperature gauge. He drives this car so hard. I mean, like you said, you drive it so hard, and the temperature stayed rock solid. The car functions super well. It sounds amazing. The drivetrain seemed crazy stout, except for that scratching synchro. I mean, he was beating the piss out of it.
I was trying to break it. Like, I don't know if you like heard it, but I was like, what are you doing? Just like every single time. But like, I had the Kendas in the back, 265s, and like those are so grippy with two people in the back. Like, I felt it. Like, if I have just two people and I'm just doing my thing, I could swing that back corner and like hold it, and it'll stay in like rev limiter in third. When you guys were in there, I was like clutch kicking it. Weren't even like staying boost almost. I was fighting it.
Yeah. So, could you make the car, you think, way more easy to maintain and everything?
Like, honestly, like the next car I build, it's gonna be like the lightest car, 2-door coupe. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be just super light. Like, this car, when I built it, like, was just like pretty much just for show, I guess. Like, have a good time, get all my friends in the car, get as many ride-alongs. But definitely overbuilt it on the weight part.
A lot of us dream, we do paid ride-alongs in Texas at a lot of events and stuff. We always dream about having 3 or 4 passengers in it and actually making money, because most of the time when you do ride-alongs, you just break even because it's so expensive to operate a drift car. And you actually did it, but then after being in a car like this that's so heavy, I'm like, man, I don't know if it's worthwhile for those extra passengers because of how destructive it is for the car. It adds a lot of grip and a lot of weight.
No, for sure.
Is the tire wear really bad on it because of this? Or do you just drive it Honda Muscleman so the tire wear is amazing?
No, so like tire wear is awful. You put 2 people in the car, it's like double as fast. So like if I'm like getting like maybe 5 or 6 runs with 2 people in the car, with 4 people I'm getting like for sure 3 runs, and then I have to change tires.
Dang, how many laps do you get at Honda?
Honestly, like I drove all night on one set of Kendas.
Okay, so it's still really good tire wear.
Really
that place
good.
had ridiculously good tire wear.
Yeah, that place is like always like that, one set,
So there is so much beautiful fabrication under the hood. Do you want to point out like 3 of your favorite parts? I see dimple dyes everywhere. I see beautiful bends on everything. I see great anodizing. Like, I see Wiggins clamps or whatever these are.
For sure, yeah.
What's your favorite thing?
I think my favorite one is probably, the Wiggins or the Pegasus clamps. This is a real Wiggins right here. I just couldn't get those sizes. And that, and then, you know, the Fortunatos. I mean, once I put the Fortunatos on, it changed the car a lot.
Yeah.
For sure, because I had some shitty coilovers. I had some CX Racing coilovers, just because I needed, you know, to put the car on the ground as fast as possible to do Desert Mayhem 3, and then, you know, once I swapped the coilovers, I could actually drift the car. Before it was just like spinning out, a lot of like body roll, like way more body roll than before. Like this is nothing compared to
What it was
before. Yeah.
This is wild. This, do you have any problems? Do you have solid motor mounts?
Yeah, so pretty much like I bought these solid motor mounts, and just because like everything's pretty much solid, like all the intercooler piping, radiator, motor mount, transmission mount, everything's pretty much solid. That's why like you hear that like drivetrain, like the whining and kind of like that's pretty much I think because everything's solid and it's like feeding off like the chassis a little bit.
There's no hose clamp here, so everything has to, this is the only real movement along with these bushings here, it looks like. So this is almost hard mounted to the engine. That is crazy, it's very different. And as I look around, I see some...
that's just to protect my air filter.
Oh, okay, just to protect the air filter. I was like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was zip tying random hose clamps on the car.
Yeah, no, that was.
He's just really meticulous about keeping everything nice.
Yeah, it was scratching it, and I didn't want it to make a hole there eventually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's very simple though. Like, it's a stock 1J with a metal head gasket, ARP head studs, 264 cams. Nothing like oversized, nothing overdid.
And what's the turbo?
That's a Born Warner 252 or 257 series, the 200 series SX.
Can we see inside the back and everything?
Yeah.
Look at how much space there is in here. This is ridiculous. That's more legroom than stock with bucket seats. He had to cut the floor, move everything. That is so nicely done. And I don't know how to show this correctly, but the cage touches all of this perfectly as you close the door. So maybe you can show right there. Look at the fitment with this. He has the most ridiculously perfect fitment for the cage. That is attention to detail that you would never get from a shop, because no shop would ever put that much work into a car. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so even if he was building this cage for a customer, not to throw him under the bus, but like, he's not gonna put as much work as he put into this. This, if you bought this car from him one day, you are a very lucky man to get a cage. I mean, this cage is probably like a $6,000 cage. Do you agree?
It took me probably more time than that just to like,
Really?
because I used the program to like type it in, so if I ever had to rebend it again, I could do it.
Oh, wow, okay. Did it come off with like a CNC bender?
Nope.
No?
No, I just have like it's called Rogue Fab bender. It's like an air pneumatic bender, but I use a Bentec,
Okay.
and it's pretty easy.
Well, it's super nice. He has an incredible amount of legroom, a lot of work pushing these seats down and back. So if you own an Aristo or a GS, you are not going to be able to replicate this without a crazy amount of work, so don't try. And a couple of quick notes. These seats are actually really comfortable in here, especially because you have so much legroom. It's like sitting in the front of the car, but it does get pretty warm back there. So it's not something that you would take people on long road trips or anything. This is more of a race car. If you look at the interior is super nice. It's a blend of like a road. Do you drive this much on the street? No? It's basically a race car?
Every time it's trailer to the track, yeah.
So even though it has a lot of VIP touches, they're not functional where you're gonna drive down the road. They're an aesthetic choice because he likes the way it looks and he wants the car to be like, I don't wanna say cosplay or anything, but like it's the car you want in your mind, not because it's functional for that reason. Like he's not driving down the road putting his Boss coffee in the dash. It's just what he thinks of when he wanted to build his ultimate expression of this beautiful, amazing car. Yeah, so cool. Come look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is the first part of the car I saw, and I was just like, what is going on? This is so nice and so much work. If you look at how well he like planted this battery in perfectly, he had to make all of this. Everything has got to be custom back here. The amount of like time it took to beautifully place all this, bend everything, is just beautiful. Even if you just look at the spacing of stuff, everything is fairly symmetrical. Everything is evenly spaced. Nothing was just, thrown in there to make something work. You've got beautiful sheet metal here. Everything is nicely cut. This is just a level of car like you just don't see often. How often do you see people put this much effort into the fabrication and layout of fuel systems and firewalls?
I mean, honestly, like
never.
there's only a few, you know, and
This is crazy.
I follow, you know, Forrest and some of the other fabricators that, you know, are big in drifting, and kind of put my own twist into it, I guess. I always had like VIP cars and drift cars, so this is a little bit of both.
Yeah. When you were saying you had a nut and bolt the suspension and stuff, is the fuel system basically you just like built it and it stays, or do you have to maintain this much?
So this is like, I never touched this. Like when I first redid the car, we like pulled all the injectors and checked all the fuel filters, and then after that we just never touched this.
And do you actively clean all this? Because there must be tire debris and dust and everything back here.
Pretty much just like
Just dust it.
air it out and then just wipe the top, and then it's good. The rest just falls down.
This is like troll level 9000, where when you build a car this nice and then you go drive it as aggressively and tandem as aggressively, that's what all the stance kids online are like, I'm gonna go do that. And then look at him, he's smiling. He's like, it is way more work than you imagine.
No, it's a lot of work for sure.
And I don't think, because we always do this style performance thing, when someone has a super nice car like this, they almost never drive it aggressively because of the amount of time and everything. He was stupid aggressive out there. So props to you. I never see anyone combine those things this nicely with the aggressive driving. And when I say aggressive, I mean like he was stupid aggressive, or the level of build. Because again, do you tandem a lot?
I mean, every single time, I try to.
And every time you tandem on track, you're just rolling the dice on totaling your car. Even if you are a great driver and you're driving with the best other driver, you never know, like he touched a rumble strip and just a knuckle broke. And that could just lead to a huge crash. Like anything can lead to a crash. So he has monster balls to be able to drive a car this nice with this much fabrication. How many hours do you think it took you to build this?
Honestly,
like thousands?
Yeah, for sure.
Thousands.
I mean, every single day, just sit there like until 2, 3 in the morning. Just, I redid all these like at least 5 or 6 times. I have like a bin box in my house of just like all the fuck ups, because like that took so many tries. And then, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like everything's in the correct direction, parallel.
And then it works. Dude, I was like, okay, like I did it, but like, is it gonna work?
Yeah.
You know, is it gonna be functional? Is it gonna be able to not overheat?
One more detail. Look at this. The door is not damaged, but it's rubbing a little bit because his fitment is that perfect on every bar. Every bar in this cage, which is crazy difficult when you know you're bending and cutting multiple pieces, is touching the door perfectly. And the beauty of that is the car still feels really high quality and comfortable because of this panel. If you get rid of this panel, the car starts to be like a crap box. You know, the car is no longer something you want to sit in and feel a certain way and enjoy. But he wants the safety of a cage and to show off his crazy fabrication skills. So the ability to do this is crazy. But the ability to do it back here is even more hilarious. He's doing the exact same thing in multiple places on this cage as it moves around. And because everybody's in here, it's a little marked up and everything. But the ability to do that everywhere on the cage, including up here, there's no space. This cage gives the occupants as much physical space as possible. It's insane. I can't get over that because, again, no fabricator is ever gonna do that to another person's car. Look at this. Does it up here, does it right there, does it down there, does it there, does it there, does it there, does it there. Every single bar is literally perfect. It's mind-blowing to me. How many times, like how many tries, did you throw away a lot of pieces or did you just nail it?
Pretty much like I did the main hoop first, and then I was like, okay, I gotta do the next main hoop. So I just tried to put that main hoop here, and I was like, all right, we're gonna use that main hoop. And then I just rebent the main hoop again, and then from there it was just a puzzle piece, because there's not like a, hey, how do you build a 4-door roll cage, you know what I'm saying?
No. Not at all.
So it was kind of like wing it.
Look at this, Si. Look at how comfortable this is. I cleanly fit with even a giant hat, so my helmet's gonna fit. I'm comfortable in here. I have plenty of space on both sides. My body's not interfering with the cage, and there's a full, like, probably 8 inches of crumple room. As a person that's over 6 feet tall, I'm 6'2". I have plenty of leg room to be completely comfortable. I can use this as handbars, which is really comfortable. This is crazy. All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and show us your car. I really appreciate going for a ride in the car as well. All right, have a great day. Boom.